Okay, are we ready?
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'd like to welcome you here tonight. My name is Holly Gross. I'm the principal of St. Louis de Montfort School. We are very delighted to be here with you to share some of the most special highlights, our students, our programs, our staff with you. And so we're going to get started. It's a very brief presentation, but one that highlights all that we have to offer. So I'm proud to introduce to you our pastor, Father Mark Canavan.
And I'm very happy to be pastor of St. Louis de Montfort, or St. Louis de Montfort, a French saint. So I like to, we're in the northwest corner of Oak Lawn, so I like to say we're in the French quarter of Oak Lawn. We're a very vibrant, small parish, but very vibrant parish that serves the community very well. And all of our activities and ministries, we stress integrity, and also passing on the faith of Jesus Christ. We're very happy to be in the Oak Lawn community, a very nice community. But we're also here to promote our parish and our school. All of our activities and ministries are welcoming, meant to welcome people into our community. And we do this by stressing integrity and kindness and being welcoming to everybody that comes in. This is only, our school is an important part of our parish too. And we can only give credit to our principal, Holly Gross, to the teachers, the parents, and especially the students. It's amazing to me how happy our kids are coming to school. I don't remember when I was growing up being that happy to be in school, but they can't wait to come to school in the fall. So if you're thinking about Catholic education in the fall, next fall, give us a call. If you're looking for a parish, give us a call and we can sit down and talk with you, and you won't be disappointed. You'll be very pleased. Thank you very much.
I wanted to tell you a little bit about our school program. St. Louis de Montfort School is where we say that our children, our faith, and our future come first. We are proud to be recognized by the Archdiocese of Chicago and by the state of Illinois, but most of all, we're proud that we inspire by instilling Catholic values for a lifetime. We teach, as Jesus did, by grace and by example, with standard-based academic excellence through top-notch technology innovations. We have smart boards in every classroom, high test scores. We motivate our students to reach new heights, and we succeed through a safe and warm learning environment because of dedicated parents who make that sacrifice, and by recognizing every child as a gift. And we have some very exciting new programs that I want to tell you about. First is our STEM program. We are one of the only schools in the area to offer STEM-based education new for this school year. That is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We are partnering with local universities to offer more. We are actually going to have on-site classes by licensed STEM educators, and we will be taking trips to different engineering labs and universities. So our teachers are very excited about offering more even than our basic curriculum already does. In addition to that, we have smart boards in every classroom, classroom computers, high-speed internet. We have music taught by a professional recording artist, our own little theater, a junior scientist program taught by a science curriculum specialist in over 17 states. So we are extremely proud of all that we offer, but we know that we're here because we're a parish school proudly serving our Catholic faith and values and our religious background. So we love our children's masses. We invite you to come out on Thursday mornings at 8:30 to see those, to see our dynamic children's choir, which you'll see a little example of in a little while. And we have a high-quality sacramental preparation program, many other things. The second exciting program I want to tell you about is that we are extremely honored to be chosen by the Archdiocese of Chicago to participate in the Caritas Scholarship Program. That will offer 50% tuition discounts to families who otherwise could not afford Catholic education, and it's not just a one-time award. It can be 3 years or more if necessary. So if you thought that Catholic education was something you could not afford, please reconsider. We have never turned anyone away, and we will never turn anyone away, and this scholarship program makes it possible for us to welcome preschool through 8th graders to our wonderful school. Now we're going to hear from our students, and we're going to start with Angel over here. Tell us about, who are you?
My name is Angel Lopez.
And I'm going into?
Kindergarten.
And I like? What do you like?
I like soccer.
Okay.
I like to play some toys. I like to color. And that's what I want to do.
Good.
Hi, I'm Juliana Ramquist. I'm going into 6th grade, and what I love about our school is our sportsmanship, girls volleyball, and our drama program.
Hi, my name is Jesse Valdez. I'm going into 2nd grade. I like to do at St. Louis de Montfort School.
Good job. Very good. Pass it on.
Hi, I'm Melanie Skurek. I'm going into 6th grade. And what I like about this school is girls basketball and junior science.
Hi, my name is Cesar Aguilar, and I'm going into 2nd grade. My favorite thing to do in St. Louis de Montfort School is going into the computer lab.
Hi, I'm Cami Valdez, and I'm going to 6th grade, and I like drama and junior science.
Hi, my name is Emery Duran. I'm going into 6th grade too, and what I really like is how easy St. Louis de Montfort makes education for us.
Hi, my name is Alex Vujovic. I'm going to 8th grade, and I like nature club and math.
Hi, my name is Kasia Vojtovic. I'm going into 7th grade, and what I like about St. Louis de Montfort is math and science.
Hello, I am Jacob Vojtovic. I'm going into 8th grade, and I love reading and language arts.
Good job. Okay, Cesar. Very good. So you've heard from our students, and we do have a top-notch faculty with a wonderful program, and Mrs. Agner is our curriculum director. She's going to tell you just a little bit about that.
I'm Darlene Agner, Curriculum Director, and I represent the Junior Scientist Program, which has been promoted. Thank you. I'd like to tell you about St. Louis de Montfort. We welcome students. We welcome a diverse community. We celebrate diversity, and we promote individuality. So with every child, we recognize that there are strengths, and each child comes to our school with a skill set. We never lose sight of that, and we want to make sure that we encourage success in every skill area. So to that end, we have a variety of programs. The teachers use all the latest teaching strategies, incorporating technology, individualizing their instruction, and our materials are also cutting edge. So we think that we have the best program that we could possibly offer to keep students happy and make them successful.
And we have our choir director here, a very talented music teacher, Mr. Roncelli.
Thank you. I'm pleased to be Director of Music, and we have a lot of programs here. We do a spring show, a Christmas show, and especially the choir, which sings at our Thursday Masses. And we have a few members of our choir here this evening to give you a little sample of that.
And I am trying to make the right choices. I'm a promise to be anything God wants me to be. I am a promise possibility. I am a promise with a capital P. I am a great big bundle of potentiality. And I am learning to hear God's voice, and I am trying to make the right choices. I'm a promise to be anything God wants me to be. Anything God wants me to be. Anything God wants me to be. Promise.
Good evening. We're going to call the regular meeting of the Village of Oak Lawn Board of Trustees to order at 7:30 on the dot. Clerk Quinlan, please take the roll.
President Barry?
Here.
Trustee Desmond will not be here tonight because of the death of his father, and our condolences to the Desmond family. Trustee Vorder?
Here.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Here.
Trustee Olenichek?
Here.
We do have a quorum.
You called Trustee Carberry.
Oh, sorry, Mike. Trustee Carberry?
Here.
Save the best for last, huh?
Okay. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, we'll open the floor to public comments. We have, first of all, Ronald Kapp talking about various matters. Please state your name and are you a resident of Oak Lawn, sir?
My name is Ron Kapp. I've been a resident of Oak Lawn since before most of you were born.
Thank you.
I was watching the village meeting, your last meeting on TV, and I thought you were all adults, but I guess I'm mistaken. It seemed like it was a third or fourth grade meeting, because that's the way you all acted. And when you have to resort to calling people names, that shows your level of intelligence. I would say that for the president, it was something that was brought up by Trustee Quinlan, and you said you didn't see it. I know the name of a very good ophthalmologist. He does really good work on eyes, and you won't, you'll be able to see it. You should have been able to hear it. I don't know any, what do you call it, hearing people, but we'll get past that. As far as Trustee Quinlan's district, I don't live in her district. I want to make that clear right now. But when we have a real heavy rain, there's a place on 99th and 52nd Avenue, and the guy has to get out there and beg people to slow down because the water just washes right up over his lawn into his house and the doorway. And there should be sewers or something put in, better sewers put in there. It would be very nice. Let me get my glasses on so I can read my own writing.
I know a good optometrist, sir.
Oh, I got a good one. I don't go to optometrists. My guy took up 12 whatever years of schooling it takes to be an ophthalmologist. Where am I? I'm sorry, I can't even read my own writing. But I hope you board members will remember that you are adults. You're not children, you're not third and fourth graders. Try acting like it and work for the village, not for the individual trustees. Remember, a board that was voted out about 8 years ago, people still think that they were working for themselves, not for the village. That's how Heilman and all the rest of them got in. And if you keep acting the way they act, people are going to start thinking that about you. And Larry, by the way, that store that's supposed to go in at 111th and Cicero, that whatever it is, that's supposed to be the anchor store, there's a rumor circulating around town that he's pulling out and he's going into Evergreen Park. Thank you.
Thank you. Larry, care to address that?
I'd be more than happy to, Mayor and Board, and Sir. The company you're referring to, as most companies strategically develop a plan, have placed a store in Frankfurt. They'll be placing a store in Oak Lawn, a store in Evergreen Park, and they have strategically about other 12 stores in the greater Chicago area with goals to get that number into the high 20s. So we're not competing. It's a strategic plan, better distribution of product, more timely and efficient delivery of the product to the customers. So everything is fine in Oak Lawn, but thank you for bringing it up.
Maybe you can get some more banks and doctor's offices too.
Thank you. Okay, our next commenter, Mr. Norm Lepescu.
My name's Norm Lepescu. I lived in the village for 29 years. After the last election, there was a lot of talk about transparency, togetherness to make sure that the board meetings would be better with less arguing, browbeating, and just plain arrogance. It seems like there is one trustee that continues to browbeat his fellow trustees. Him being a business owner, I would believe that he would know how unemployment works. The state of Illinois is really only an agent within Illinois that distributes funds collected by employers who pay into an unemployment fund. Every employer pays a tax to the state of Illinois to cover this system. Maybe this trustee is not the businessman everybody thinks he is. Excuse me. This trustee, bragging that he's been a trustee for 22 years, did not state that for most, if not all these years as a trustee, also being a part-time employee, he has the health plan for most, if not all these years. I am sure that the number of breadwinners within the village would like to pay less than $100 a month for health coverage for their entire family. Also, this trustee has been, for most of the time as a board member, a minority on the village board. Has this trustee had an alternative motive to stay on this board? He stated that COBRA costs the individual $20,000 a year for family health insurance. Over 22 years, that means that the village has paid over $400,000, thus saving him $400,000 to help his retirement. This trustee was browbeating one of the fellow trustees about getting on the insurance plan for the village because he lost his job. Not that he was terminated, not that he was a bad employee, but his company went out of business. Because I know the company myself. And that has absolutely nowhere to be within this village on this board. When you talk about a third or fourth grader, that is the one trustee that you're talking about. People who live in glass houses should not throw rocks. And also on here, I see that there's going to be resident parking only on 106th Street, I believe it is. All around the village here, around Village Hall, there is a number of different no parking signs during various hours. I'd like to find out, because we lived there, when that was posted, I don't know how many years ago, the residents were exempt. But as time goes on, I don't think that's the same thing. I'd like to know if, in fact, the residents that live in the area are exempt from, not being able to park there.
Okay. Larry, would you care to address this question?
Mr. Lepescu, could I please trouble you to again repeat that?
There on the agenda today, there's a resident parking only sign to be put up on 106th Street. All around the village here, next to the train station, there's a lot of no parking for 1 or 2 hours, sporadically during the day in all locations. When that was done, The residents were told that we were immune from that we didn't have to worry because we were the residents. It was mostly for the commuters. I want to know, is that still the fact?
Well, the petition that's before you goes before a citizen committee appointed by the mayor and the board called the Traffic Review Committee. They listen to requests from citizens who are looking for traffic measures to be considered, then they vote on it, and they make a recommendation either to approve or deny, and it goes before this board. Nothing's changed, Mr. Lepesco, as far as I know. The intent is to keep parking, particularly in your neighborhood, in your area, for residents, and to direct commuters to park in the very parking spaces that have been designated for them and are very convenient. No need to park in residential
So, I mean, I just want to know,
neighborhoods.
are the residents immune from that?
Are residents immune?
From the parking restrictions?
Are residents immune from parking restrictions? I'll give you an example in front of my home. It's for residents, but to discourage commuters, there's a sign that says between the hours of 1 p.m. and 2 p.m.
Right.
Okay, that's to discourage those who would park there illegally all day and get on the train, and to keep that parking for
So
residents.
can you park there between 1 and 2?
Yes.
Oh, that's the question I'm asking. We're residents. And
Oak Lawn
there
parking sticker.
There is questions about that. I have neighbors that have been asking me, you know, I had another new neighbor move in, and can I park in front of my house? And I go, yeah, you could park in front of your house.
answer is yes.
It's for non-residents.
Sure.
I just wanted to make sure that was still in fact
That is.
the way it is.
And if you're aware, and please, any resident that feels that they received a ticket inappropriate to that, you come directly to my office, because the police do enforce that.
That's what I told them. I said, if you have, give it to me and I will take care of it. Because I know you're a man of your word.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that's it for public comments. We have a gentleman raising his hand. Normally, we ask you to sign up before the meeting and be recognized, but I'll make an exception today. And thank you, sir. Would you care to come up and state your name? Please speak at the microphone.
It's just me, Ron Cap, again. In answer to the gentleman's question about the parking, when that first came out, there was a big hoopla about it. We had a meeting, and some guy suggested that you put up signs, no parking, like on the east side of the street from 11 to 12, and on the west side from 3 to 4 or something like that. And for a while, until the police officer got to know the cars in the neighborhood, you would get a ticket on your car. After he got to know the cars that belonged in the neighborhood, he'd just go right past.
Okay.
I know, because I got a couple tickets on our cars.
Okay.
And I took them up to my trustee, and he took care of them for me. But that was the way the thing was set up, and that, yes, we did get tickets at first.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on. Item 4, Resolution 13-12-33 is a resolution approving the Oak Lawn Community High School Homecoming Parade on September 26th in 2013. May I have a motion on item 4, please?
So moved.
Properly moved by trustee Olenichik.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Streit. Any discussion? Please take the roll.
All in favor?
Yes. Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 5 is a proclamation, and I'm going to read it up here and then move over to the dais. We have a wonderful group of Purple Heart veterans and families here, and maybe I'll just read this over there. Would anyone care to stand up here with me? And would you like to bring your banner and sign? Ah, beautiful. Please come up and stand around. This is an exciting day in Oak Lawn. Thank you. Christina, will you fit?
Yeah, I just want to.
Whereas the Village of Oak Lawn is a south suburban family community located outside of Chicago, Illinois, and is comprised of avid supporters of our military veteran population. And whereas the Purple Heart is the oldest military decoration in use today, which evolved from the Badge of Military Merit, created in 1782 by General George Washington for the common soldier. And whereas the Purple Heart is awarded to members of the United States Armed Forces that have been wounded or killed in combat with a declared enemy of the United States of America. And whereas the mission of the Military Order of the Purple Heart is to foster an environment of goodwill among the combat wounded veterans and their families, promote patriotism, support legislative initiatives, and most importantly, make sure we never forget. And whereas Chapter 575 of the Military Order of the Purple Heart, which is located in the Village of Oak Lawn, has the largest chapter of members in the state of Illinois. Said chapter is comprised of a highly decorated veteran population whom served in every war and conflict, including ex-POWs and those whom borne the wounds of battle. And whereas several members of Chapter 575 have served as officers of the State of Illinois Military Order of the Purple Heart, holding such title as Department Commander, and member of the Department of the Illinois Veterans Affairs Advisory Committee. And whereas the members have safeguarded and displayed a unique first-ever movable memorial wall of honor displaying the ceramic tile portraits of Illinois' post-9/11 fallen veterans at the Village of Oak Lawn's memorable September 11, 2001 memorial event at the Oak Lawn Patriot Station. And whereas members participate in every patriotic community event and volunteer their time and personal history to students within the Village of Oak Lawn school districts. Whereas we appreciate the sacrifices of our Purple Heart recipients that have made defending our freedom and believe it is important that we acknowledge them for their courage and show them support they have earned. Now therefore, I, Dr. Sandra Berry, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the Village of Oak Lawn in the state of Illinois, being the first community in this state, do hereby declare that we are a Purple Heart village and fully support our village as one of the first villages, cities, or towns in the state of Illinois. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the official seal of the Village of Oak Lawn, Cook County, Illinois, to be affixed on this 25th day of June 2013. So we are the first Purple Heart city in Illinois. Amen. Thank you. Would anyone like to come up and say a few words?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Board of Trustees. All I can say is I'm the commander of Chapter 575 in Oak Lawn, and also now recently elected the department commander for the state of Illinois. My partner in crime, I'll use the term, he knows how I talk, Dan Finn has been the commander 4 years prior. And then we had another commander. Dan Finn is actually the head of this organization. I do what I can and just hope, and once again, just want to thank everyone, and God bless everyone, and God bless America. Oh, and we'd like to present a flag. I'm sorry, I get carried away. I'm not too good of a speaker. So anyway, we'd like to present the village with the Purple Heart flag. Please, fly it proudly. Thank you.
It's a beautiful flag. Thank you very much.
Oh, forgot about that.
Everyone in attendance today is getting a Purple Heart cookie.
Yeah.
Thank you. How sweet it is.
I don't need it anyhow. Also, too, on behalf of the State of Illinois Ladies Auxiliary of the Military Order of the Purple Heart, we would like to thank not only our board members, but most especially our newly elected Mayor, Dr. Burry, of our great community. I'm so proud to be a resident of this community. We've lived in this community for more than 25 years, and we've always called it home. And our son served overseas, and I know that when he came home, he was so grateful that he knew that he could come back home to Oak Lawn. I have a little purple angel pin for our mayor.
Thank you so much.
to thank you. And
That's beautiful.
thank you. And real quick, I just want to read a really, really fast verse because they're words of inspiration, and that's whom all these gentlemen and our ladies that earn the Purple Heart as well are to our nation. One song can spark a moment. One flower can wake the dream. One tree can start a forest. One bird can herald spring. One vote can change a nation. One sunbeam lights a room. One candle wipes out darkness. One laugh will conquer gloom. One step must start each journey. One word must start a prayer. One hope will raise our spirits. One touch can show you care. One voice can speak with wisdom. One heart can know what's true. One life can make a difference. The difference starts with you. Thank you all for being a part of this most prestigious and honorary ceremony, and we're so very proud. So thank you again. God bless.
Thank you very much. We will fly it proudly.
Go ahead. Voice vote. Yeah.
So I'd like a voice vote for the proclamation, please, for
Sandy,
approval.
second.
Oops. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, Dr. Burry. I know
Pardon
I didn't
me.
put my name in prior, but this is one of the veterans I've helped in their, I guess, pursuit of benefits, and he wanted me to speak. If you are a veteran, know of a veteran who is in pursuit of their VA entitlements, this organization provides that wonderful service free of charge. So that's where I come in. My name is Jason Goldsmith. I have an office here in Hines, VA. So any questions, please, contact me. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry we missed you. Thank you. So I'll need a motion to approve the proclamation, please.
So moved.
Okay, Trustee Warder, properly moved, seconded by Trustee Olenichek. And a voice vote, please.
All in favor?
Yes. Yes.
Opposed? The motion passes.
Thank you. And thank you very much for coming today. I want to just briefly talk about 24 hours ago, a strong storm front moved rapidly through the area and left damage affecting every district in Oak Lawn. There were about 4,600 households impacted with the loss of power. Uprooted trees, power lines down, general mayhem, traffic signals were out, families were suffering, food went bad. People couldn't watch the Hawks game. Local businesses were closed and revenue was lost. As of this evening, there are approximately 3,500 Oak Lawn customers still without power. I want to let everyone know ComEd is working these issues, and we hope to have major restoration work complete by Wednesday, which is tomorrow. In some areas, however, power outages may continue to Thursday. I want to thank the Oak Lawn Park District for partnering with the village to keep the Oak Lawn Pavilion open 24/7 for the duration of the power outages. If people need to cool off or have a facility they can go to with power, that facility is available. Residents can go there. There's air conditioning. The senior center and the public library are open during regular hours and can be used as cooling centers also. Additional information is on our website and the scrolling text on Channel 4 you should be seeing with this video. Additionally, during the night, ComEd is operating 2 cooling buses for residents in the area of 91st and Mead, which is Harnu School, and Wolf Wildlife Refuge. So these are buses that have power and cooling. These areas have the largest number of customers without power outside of the area around the pavilion. The buses are available until, yeah.
Excuse me, I just got word that they're still waiting on the buses.
Okay. Well, I won't talk about the buses then. But if you see cooling buses there, feel free to get to them. In the meantime, use the pavilion. If you know people who don't have power and they're elderly or have special needs, please check on them and make sure they're okay. It is very hot and humid out there. I especially want to thank the village staff for being so professional and helpful to residents. Today, this board came together earlier to do whatever could be done for residents, including a plan to get information to every affected household. A small army of Oak Lawn firefighters went door to door to the hardest hit areas to give support and information. I just want to take a minute and thank them and all the volunteers who came together to help. What has been disappointing, however, is ComEd's response in Oak Lawn. We have 57,000 residents, and today only 3 crews were working to restore power. Thousands of families are suffering. It's very, very frustrating. I appreciate your patience. It's just very frustrating. We are fighting for you, but I understand it's a very large problem from Winnetka all the way down, even south of here. So with that, I'm going to move on and ask for approval of the meeting minutes, item 6 on the agenda. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting dated June 11, 2013, properly moved by trustee Olenichik.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Streit. Any discussion? Clerk Quinlan, please take the roll.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Olenichik?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 7, may I have a motion to approve the minutes of the executive session dated January 8th, 2013.
So moved.
Properly moved by trustee Olenichik,
Second.
seconded by trustee Vorder. Oh, I'm sorry.
Trustee Carberry.
Trustee Carberry, thank you. Any discussion? Please take the roll.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Olenichik?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 8, may I have a motion to approve the minutes of the executive session dated April 23rd, 2013.
So moved.
Properly moved by trustee Olenichik,
Second.
seconded by trustee Vorder. I think I heard him first. Any discussion? Please take the roll.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Olenichik?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, item 9, I believe. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the executive session dated May 28th, 2013?
So moved.
Properly moved by trustee Olenichik, seconded by trustee Carberry. Any discussion?
I was going to say, go ahead.
Please take the roll.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Olenichik?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. New business by village trustees, item 10. Let's start in District 2 today with trustee Olenichik.
First of all, I'd like to thank the ladies and gentlemen from the Purple Hearts vets. Thank you for your service and for all that you have done for our country and continue to do. And I'd like to thank all vets. I think it's very important that people in the village understand how important our vets are to our freedoms. Freedom isn't free. It costs a lot. And when you have people that are willing to put down their lives for you, those are very special people, so thank you. Secondly, I'd like to give an update on our bicycle tour in the village of Oak Lawn. Last year, we had about 100 pre-registered bicyclists. This year, we had over 170 pre-registered. When you take a look at the diversity of the bicyclists, there were bicyclists with families from 5 years old all the way up to, I believe, one of the bicyclists was 83 years old and made it through the whole 9-mile bike tour. But the bigger thing is that we were able to show the true beauty of Oak Lawn, its neighborhoods. I do want to thank the planning committee because to put on just a small event like that lasted about 4 hours in the afternoon took a lot of people's time to make that happen. So I'd like to thank Josh Jones, Heather Green, Eileen Sabatino, Chick Ciccarillo, Jim Passetti, Carmi O'Leary, Adam Woodworth from the Children's Museum, the Summer Help Girls that helped put the packets together, but the true people that were the heart and soul behind it, Deanna Skeels, who did a great job as a volunteer, putting in many hours, and Debbie Stoffergen. She's from the Friends of the Calsag Trail and a resident. They put a lot of hours in behind it, along with the police department, the fire department, that during the event, I believe we had no major issues other than we had to finish that to go to the Parks Foundation golf outing. I'd like to thank Fair Play Foods for their sponsorship and the free food that they gave to every bicyclist at the end of the course. The Children's Museum in Oak Lawn, they gave out free passes. CDM Smith, who sponsored the shirts. Friends of CalSag, who helped with the formation and sponsored, Bike Psychos, especially Mike Witcher, who is a resident and employee of the Village of Oak Lawn, who led our bicycle tour. And to have 170 people plus, and to make it through that and keep everybody together, I think Mike and his team did a great job, along with the police department. I'd like to thank Complete Vision Care for their sponsorship, Oak Lawn First, the Oak Lawn Municipal Employees Credit Union, and I know I'm probably missing a couple of other people that were involved in it, but it was a great event. It was our second annual, and I know that we're looking forward to our third annual. I'd like to recap a little bit of what the mayor talked about with ComEd. I personally am very disappointed with ComEd. I'm very concerned with the way we did have a storm that came through. But I know that other trustees were out in the streets, didn't see crews out there trying to coordinate. When we did see crews that were coordinating, they were addressing problems, but they didn't have coordination. For example, linesmen could not continue to move on and put power online because the tree trimmers weren't in the same area, and there was a lack of coordination between those two departments. In the meetings that we had, and we had a meeting attended by the majority of the board at, what was it, 1:30 that we had our first meeting? The Commonwealth Edison people that came there couldn't provide us with the answers. And I know that many residents have contacted myself and other trustees asking us, hey, I understand the power's down, but what are they doing to get it up? When can I expect it to be up? And Commonwealth Edison basically committed that by Thursday all the power would be back. I think that's unacceptable. Commonwealth Edison has been around for many years. Storms do come in. People do understand that lines are going to go down. They should have an actionable plan to be able to put feet and resources on the street. We are still 24 hours after what happened, and we know no more information than we knew at the same time yesterday. And it bothers me that they don't have to share that information with us. Talking to the crews that were out in the street, I talked to two of the crews, and I'm trying not to get people in trouble. The people on those crews told me, off the record, that they personally were not activated until this morning at 8 o'clock, which when Commonwealth Edison spoke to us this afternoon said that they didn't have people activated till 8 o'clock this morning. Very concerned that from 5 o'clock last night to 8 o'clock this morning, there was no actionable plan and they didn't have boots on the streets making things happen. And as best I can tell right now, I don't see an actionable plan. This all goes into the 8 years of concerns that I've had with Commonwealth Edison. They lack a sense of urgency for taking care of their customers, us. They do not do a good job at preventative maintenance, because looking at the issues in the yards, as I have done and other trustees have done, many of these issues could have been prevented had they kept up their preventative maintenance. There are a couple issues, granted, big tree in your area, a couple of big trees in my area. You can't predict that if a big tree is going to go down. But what's affecting these 3,000 plus residents aren't 2 big trees or 3 big trees that went down, I assure you. And I'm asking this board to stand behind a directive to ask Commonwealth Edison to supply us with complete and accurate open information on what they are doing to address our historically bad service and issues. Not just this storm, because they'll get us to believe that it was a major storm, and yes, a storm did hit, but there are other communities equally to the size of ours that didn't feel the pain that we felt and went through the exact same thing. I think they owe us an answer. I believe that we should be going in front of the Illinois Commerce Commission and, again, bringing forth the concerns that we as a village have with our unreliable energy, which, by the way, has cost many residents. Let's go back to the issue that happened 4 or 5 months ago. Still, we don't have an explanation for it, but people were out thousands of dollars. Now we have people that are going to be out thousands of more dollars in almost the exact same areas. I'm very, very fed up with this, and I, as a board member, am willing to go as far as we need to go downstate to ask for help to make sure that we get better, reliable energy and that we get some type of actionable plan from ComEd on what they're going to do to fix this power grid. One other thing, I know that we don't have a meeting at the beginning of the month of July, and St. Gerald's as a parish, is celebrating the dedication of the Jonathan Collins Activity Center, and it's going to be July 13th after 5 o'clock Mass. And for anybody that's been on this side of Oak Lawn and in St. Gerald's Parish, that activity center being open, that's been something that we have been working on since 1967. So we're very happy to get the activity center, and if you drive by it, it looks really nice, and it's going to be a really nice addition to our community. And I will tell you that once it's up and going, if we had to use it for an emergency, we could use it for a cooling center once we get it up and going. That concludes my report.
Thank you. District 3, Trustee Strite.
Thank you, Madam President. In this age of technology where almost everything can be done online, it is our goal to make government become more efficient. The public also benefits when we use available technology to provide services. In regards to vehicle sticker renewal, we have been able to be more efficient and use technology by allowing residents to purchase their vehicle stickers online. The residents don't have to wait in line at the Village Hall, and it's a great convenience for families. There is one area, though, that needs improvement. Unfortunately, we don't allow seniors eligible for the senior discount to renew their vehicle stickers online. While regular price stickers can be renewed and paid for online, senior discounts must be renewed and paid for in person at the Village Hall. I have had residents contact me with this concern. I would like to think that if a senior is already established through another village program, that he or she would be able to order their vehicle sticker online, but unfortunately that is not the case. I have discussed this with staff and have been told that they are working on a plan, which is a software issue, to allow seniors to purchase their stickers online. I hope we can move forward on this as soon as possible. It doesn't make sense with all of our resources that we are unable to make senior stickers available online. And then I would like to address a function that took place at Christ Hospital yesterday. I, along with many of the members of this board, attended an official demolition ceremony at Christ Hospital to mark the beginning of the construction of their newest tower yesterday. The old West Tower parking garage will be torn down to make way for a new 7-story bed tower. This is just another step in the modernization and expansion of Christ Hospital. When completed, the patient tower will give the community much-needed additional beds, particularly intensive care units, enabling the hospital to better fulfill its ministry of healing and enhance its services to the residents of Oak Lawn and our surrounding communities. I want to thank Christ Hospital for their commitment to Oak Lawn with all of their new development in our community. The hospital has spent nearly $600 million in development in our community, making the greatest health care in Illinois available to our residents. Christ Hospital has long been an economic engine for the village of Oak Lawn, bringing the best doctors anywhere to us, creating new construction jobs and health care jobs. We are so grateful and blessed to have this community, to have this hospital here in our community. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to move on to Trustee Terry Vorderer in District 4.
Thank you, Madam President. And thank you, Bob, for bringing attention to the hospital in my district. I was going to mention that, but in addition to the fine comments Bob had made, I've been meeting with the village manager and the mayor, with administration at the hospital, and there definitely is a spirit of cooperation as we move forward with this expansion to address some of the issues which affect my district, the 4th District. It is a world-class institution, and we're proud and happy to have it here. But with such a facility, it does impact the people that live close by. And as we progress forward, I can assure you that my feelings are is that the hospital administration is prepared to work with us to address some of those things. I will be holding my first community meeting, and I'd like to invite all the residents to this meeting, which will be held on July 11th, 2013, at 7:30 p.m. at the Oak Lawn Park District Administration Building, which is 9400 South Kenton. We will have hospital administrators on hand to do a PowerPoint presentation on their expansion, their impact on the community, and what this facility will look like when it's done. I would like, Jane, if you would post something on Channel 4 for my meeting so that I can reach as many constituents as you can. I've talked with my parish, and they're going to put something in their bulletin so that we can reach out and do that.
All right.
July 4th is rapidly approaching, and of course everybody knows that the village has a wonderful 4th of July parade at 10 o'clock. But in addition to that parade afterwards, the Park District has a program to entertain our kids and our adults at the Centennial Park, which is at 94th in Nashville, and that runs from 11 to 3 p.m. You can swim in the pool for $2 at any of their pools. And of course, we cap the night in a partnership with the Park District and the Village of Oak Lawn, one of the best fireworks displays, okay, in any village around. And that takes place at Richards High School at 107th and Central. In fact, when I was a policeman, I used to think that this is the event that gathers the most Oak Lawn residents at one time. It's a great event, and I'd like to see more and more people participate in it. And one other thing, Madam President, you brought to my attention a program which I would like to work on and develop, especially in light of the people that we honored here tonight, the Purple Hearts. Many people have worn and tattered flags, okay, which they dispose of, and there is a proper protocol in which flags are supposed to be disposed. And I would like to work with the VFW, which has a program to collect flags from our residents as they wear out. I would like to ask the village manager if he would put a container perhaps in our vestibule or lobby identified as worn flags, so when residents come in, they can drop their flags. The VFW has a great program for us veterans who will bring our flags in, and for that matter, anybody that brings their flags in. And what they do is they remove unembroidered flags. They remove the embroidered portion of the flag, and then they put it on a little plaque, and they give it to our veterans or our service people who are going overseas to defend this country. And on that little plaque with one of these flags, it reads, "I am part of our American flag. I have flown over a home in the United States of America. I can no longer fly. The sun and winds have caused me to become tattered and torn. Please carry me as a reminder that you are not forgotten." So then once we accumulate a number of these flags, perhaps we can do some kind of little ceremony on the War Memorial here where we can dispose of these flags in the prescribed manner with respect and honor. That's all I have, Madam President.
Thank you. Great idea. In district.
No, your idea,
well.
Madam President. I just developed it.
No, it was someone else's idea before I let you know about it.
Well, there are no original ideas. Yeah.
Thank you. In District 5, Trustee Quinlan.
Thank you. First of all, I just want to give an update in regards to the senior center parking. And specifically, I'd like to address the people that are just east of the South Side Baptist school there. We were supposed to have a meeting on Thursday, but we've run into a snafu. Apparently, the soil isn't what we thought it was. So our village engineer, Jack Gallagher, and Josh has been very involved with this as well. Bill Meyer, we are working on a solution. The last thing I'm going to allow happen, I promise, is to let that flood water and that new parking lot run into those residences. So I will let you know when we're ready for a meeting and we have all the information that we need. But it will not be this Thursday. The second thing, just talking about the outages that we had, I had sent an email to Chief Murray where he assured me that the police are, do have a copy of the map of all the homes that are out of power, and that the police will be keeping extra attention in those parts of the neighborhood, which is a major concern because of how dark it is. The third thing that I wanted to bring up kind of in the spirit of transparency, but when we receive our board packets, it's important when somebody puts something on the agenda that we have the backup material. There were a couple items on the agenda where I don't know if we're going to be expected to vote on them or if it's just a discussion. It'd be helpful that if someone puts something on the agenda to just state for discussion purposes only, or if a vote, especially if a vote is going to be happening, that we have some sense of what we're going to be talking about again, to be better prepared when we come up to this board table. So again, just appealing to everyone from attorneys to the other board members. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you. And in District 6, Trustee Carberry.
Nothing, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Moving on to item 11, the Village Manager's Report. Manager Deachin.
Thank you, President Burry and Board. First item is I would echo the thank you remarks made by Trustee Olenichek and thanking the Planning Committee and all the participants of our community in the second annual tour of our community by bike. But I would like to tag onto that and report on our 2013 Bike to Work Week competition, where Oak Lawn once again participated and resulted in a workforce that exceeded the performance of all other municipalities. That would be the Village of Woodridge, the City of Chicago, Village of Wheeling, Village of Buffalo Grove, Village of Oak Park, City of Elgin, Village of Lombard, and the Village of Niles. So hats off to all the village associates who participated in that event and performed so well for our community. Overall, we placed in the top 1% of participants, and that's also a wonderful achievement. Item B, President, I'd like to defer that to E under your report. And the reason why is I reported to the board that my recommendation requires the cooperation and discussion with the mayor, because as manager, I have the authority to make certain legal appointments, and then there are specific legal functions that are the recommendation of the mayor and the consent of the board. I have consulted with the mayor, and I will report under that my specific recommendation under her report. Thank you, Mayor. And then under general matters.
Just have a motion to postpone it to E under the President's report then. So a motion to postpone village manager.
Okay, properly
Second.
moved by Trustee Warderer, seconded by Trustee Olenichek. Please call the roll.
All in favor.
All in favor?
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. And then my last item under general village reports, the mayor's getting an outstanding report, and Trustee Olenichek, who late into last night was on foot in his neighborhood with the mayor. And I think it's important to tell the residents that our Public Works Department, our police, our fire, that you pay taxes for and do an outstanding job for this community and your emergency communicators, they were all working last night. They were out in the field, and at 10:48, our foreman for Public Works, who was supervising all the chipping crews that were cutting up trees, particularly in Bob's district and also in Alex's district and in other sporadic areas in the village, they reported that they had yet to see one ComEd truck. Now, to be fair to ComEd, yes, they're working in some perimeter areas. They may be in Burbank, they may be in Worth, working on feeder lines, et cetera. But the point of the matter is the heart of this community was without power. Businesses were out without power at 11 p.m. There were traffic signals at 52nd, Cook, without any power for several hours. There was no power at Central. There was no power at 54th. Those two came on by 10 o'clock, but at 11 p.m., shortly after the Blackhawks won and everyone was celebrating, it was dangerous on 95th Street. It was dangerous. There were many pedestrians that were out celebrating that victory, and Quite frankly, a lot of motorists going by celebrating. So I'm disappointed, and I'm disappointed in the attendance that I saw at Village Hall. I didn't see any senior person, and quite frankly, we've had this discussion before, but I hope the board reaches out to the CEO and those that are in real authority at ComEd, because they didn't deliver, and you pay those rates. That's probably one of the reasons why we went to aggregation and reduced your electric rates from 8 cents a kilowatt to 5 cents a kilowatt. And I think most of you saw that substantial drop in your bill thanks to your vote in November and action taken by the mayor and the board. That's all I have, President. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 12 is a request to approve the Traffic Review Committee referral for a residential permit parking only sign in front of 4028 West 106th Place, which was a 4-0 vote to approve. TC-1193-M, Walters Mood, petitioner in District 6. And item 13 is an ordinance granting that residential permit-only parking sign. May I have a motion, please, on items 12 and 13?
Motion approved.
Properly moved by Trustee Carberry.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Quinlan. Any discussion on this item, or these items? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 14 is a request to approve, request approval by the Board of Trustees to direct the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners to hire 2 police officers from the current eligibility list, which was a 2013 approved budget item.
Motion approved.
Properly moved by Trustee Oliniechek,
Second.
seconded by Trustee Carberry. Any discussion? Clerk Quinlan, please take the roll.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 15 is a request to assign 20 parking spaces on the first floor in the Metro Parking Garage for the use of patrons of area businesses. May I have a motion, please, on item 15?
Motion to approve.
Properly moved by Trustee Oliniechek,
Second.
seconded by Trustee Vorder. Any discussion on this item?
Yes.
Trustee
please.
Quinlan.
I've spent a lot of time talking to commuters on this issue, and I spoke to Larry at length on this issue as well when it came on the agenda. My big thing is the commuters pay, to use that, and by paying, they also are paying to have the prime spots as well. And number one, if in fact this is something that is moving forward, but I caution the board on that, but if it is, number one, I'd like to see if we could talk to the, who's going to pay for those spots. Is it going to be the strip mall owners? Is it going to be the actual businesses that are going to pay for those spots? I mean, that helps a little bit, so the commuters at least know that revenue is coming in, and I do think that's only fair. This second thing that I would suggest that this board consider is that if you are going to give them spots, does it really have to be on the first floor? Can we really look at first come, first serve? So I think everybody's been in a garage before, and you just keep going till you get the next available space, but at least some of the early morning commuters will get the spots that they really want, and it means something to them because they're out there so early. I can't believe that that would be an issue for anybody. That's my feeling. I know that having talked to commuters, they are very upset about giving up those prime spots. They're okay if they're at higher levels, but on the first floor and taking 20 spots, I really think is a mistake.
Thank you. To address first your concern about payment, my understanding, and Larry, maybe you can verify this, is that we cannot charge less for one type of person parking there or more for another type. So there would be no preferential payment structure one way or another, that someone would be paying for those spots. Is that correct, Larry?
That is correct.
Okay. And with respect to why the first floor, why not just first come, first serve? respectfully, we've had that in place presently, and those storefronts have been vacant since the building was built in 2005, I believe. There's never been anyone able to get a lease. We have a potential business willing to go in, interested in going, and that would be a great fit for the area. But their corporate headquarters says there's so few spots available that are assigned specifically for the businesses there that they will not approve a franchise. I'd really love to see those storefronts filled. We'd love more tax revenue. I think we should try it, and if people want to set a temporary timeline on it, just to see how it's working. I really do feel, this is 2013, it was built in 2005. Just park wherever you see the next available spot is not working.
Were they specific in saying 20 spots?
They were asking for 30 to 50, I believe.
30 to 50?
Yeah, so, yeah. It was in the letter. Larry, do you remember the number?
That is correct.
30 to 50, so.
So you're saying that they have been talked to as far as they are making that a requirement that it be on the first floor?
The franchise requires that the parking be assigned in the area to the businesses in that area.
Could we assign it on a higher floor?
Do you think you would want to go grab a sandwich, park up on the roof of the parking garage and come back down 5 flights, go across the way? I don't think, and they could do that now, frankly, and we're just not seeing that, yeah.
So
Any other discussion, Trustee Straight?
So the parking, the 20 parking spaces would be for the customers of this specific business?
Of the businesses at that location, excluding probably the Children's Museum where there's already a relationship and
President Berry and Board, if I could just comment. It's not the first time that we've had a business come to us and raise issues about the parking. And this has gone before the board twice. I brought to your attention a proposal where it would be first come, first serve for customers of the businesses. And quite frankly, I just ran the numbers. It's so inexpensive to pay what the commuters pay now that the landlord and the businesses, I'm sure, would share in those costs, write a check to the Village of Oak Lawn on an annual basis. Where do I sign up for that program? And then that parking would have signage encouraging customers of the name of the building where the Children's Museum is, whatever you wish to call it, and probably some logos of those businesses. But it'll be first come, first served, not employees. Employees would go to the top floor, as we've encouraged employees of Potbelly, Starbucks, Qdoba, Smashburger, Harris Bank, etc., because that's a good use. We have a sufficient vacancy in that garage, underutilization, and most businesses, and in this case, this is a national AAA tenant. They are looking at outstanding shopping centers, and the franchisee has said, hey, I want to choose my site here at Oak Lawn, and National is saying, these are our guidelines. You have inadequate parking. You don't go there unless you make a change. That's what we face.
Trustee Quinlan?
Are you afraid that we'll be getting, some of the other business, like the Starbucks or whatever, that they're going to start approaching and say, well, we'll pay for more spots, but we want them on the lower level. But I'm telling you, before you know it, then that entire lower level is going to be taken up with retail.
If you're asking me the question as a manager,
Right.
and having designed garages before that are highly successful, I don't know why the first floor wasn't retail and retail spaces, quite frankly. That's how most garages are designed, and I've seen that successfully work, and then the upper floors are commuters. We're talking about $2 a day. Tell me where I can park for $2 a day. That's quite an attractive route to get first-class transportation, 24 minutes be in downtown Chicago. So I think it's an experiment. It's only 20. They would have liked more. To me, you try it out, and then you determine how is it working, and does it make sense from an overall business standpoint. Whatever happens with Beatty and that could have some impact ultimately in that entire area. But right now, parking is an issue. we really are not parking friendly, I think, for customers and consumers of that area.
Mayor?
Trustee Straight.
The manager said that he wasn't sure why that, when the garage was built, that the first floor wasn't retail, and I think I know the answer to that. When that garage was built, it was primarily, I believe, 75% financed by Metro, and so that space was built for commuters, and I doubt that that would have been an allowable use, and I think, so I would, at this point, I think it would be fair to ask, has Metro agreed that that would be an acceptable use?
Well, first of all, we have an
parking spaces?
agreement that we signed with Metro, and we did put 25%. Trustee Stride is correct. I spoke to Metro today, and I've spoke to Metro over the years, and they are amenable to seeing the village experiment, look at this, and work with the village. The mayor and I did meet with representatives from Metro a couple weeks ago. We were well received. I think it's a try, but again, Trustee Stride, I can't second guess what was done here back in 2005 or 2006. I'm just saying that transit-oriented development, which is what this downtown area is, has to have a partnership with parking for business. They work together, not separately. That garage is underutilized. It's a tremendous asset. Credit to officials who built that, but we're not using it to the extent that we really should. It's an investment, and to me, any time that we can encourage, and some of the, by the way, Mr. Finance Director, how many permits in that garage are Oak Lawn residents alone versus the many folks I see using that garage who are not Oak Lawnians? How many?
Well, there's 300.
There's 868 spaces,
Right.
and you're telling me only 300 of those spaces are permits from Oak Lawn residents?
Those are the quarterly permits. But let me, on the Metro agreement, first of all, the commuter lot, which is what it's called, is really dedicated, that the first and second floors are all dedicated to commuters, and then the entire north wall of the commuter lot. In my opinion, I think Larry's right. I think those businesses have asked for this for a number of years, and Carol, you had asked before to move some of the employees to the fourth and fifth floors, which we've done. The problem is some of those employees are still parking in the mall lot. Now, we've talked to those businesses. In fact, I'm going there tomorrow to give them their hang tags for the next quarter. So I think that what we're trying to do is open some of that first floor. And remember, that first floor, there's still approximately 60 other spaces that'll all be there for commuters as well. And there's another row for handicaps. So to Larry's point, there's an awful lot of, we have a lot of quarterly passes that we give out primarily to Oak Lawn residents. We also give an exception to hometown residents that were grandfathered in. But a lot of those are not used, and then we have the regular daily people, and only about half of those cars, because we've been counting them for the last month, are used by Oak Lawn residents.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, and again,
substantially
just-
underutilized.
You can go downtown Chicago, that's all you have to go, just to Chicago, and look at Trader Joe's. I park in a parking garage, I come down, there's Trader Joe's, or there's a Starbucks, or there's restaurants, there's dry cleaners, etc. Those are well-planned garages. They incorporated what is called mixed use. That garage should have been mixed use, but I don't want to Monday morning quarterback it. Again, it's a very positive thing for the village. All I'm suggesting is it's underutilized. Let's give it a shot, try it out. If it's unsuccessful, you can go back, or if you think that it's working and you may need to adjust it a little bit more, it's not fixed in stone. You're trying it out.
Why aren't we trying the whole first floor then? If that's what you suggest, why aren't we doing it?
Well,
I mean, let's do it. I mean, it makes sense.
I'm all for trying where we are now, and if that attitude had prevailed a couple years ago, there were probably 2 restaurants that may have been in that empty space, but they're not. And the current interested party would not need, I think, they've asked for 40 to 50. I think it's reasonable to say, 20 to 25.
But I thought other retail could benefit from it. That's what you're saying, right?
I believe other retail will benefit from that.
No, if that's gonna, I mean, the Oaklawn residents, if we're gonna get a bang for our buck, and they'll park on the second floor when they're gone for 8 or 10 hours a day, if they can make money on the first floor.
Okay.
I think
Trustee.
most people will understand the investment. So what I'm saying is, if we can come in with a plan to utilize the whole floor, then come in for, if you're gonna try something out, try the whole thing. If you think that's what's gonna work and that's what's gonna help us.
Well, Mayor, I like that thought. Matter of fact, what I would suggest based on that, if the board would agree, we could table action on this. Let's go back to the private sector and say that the board's willing to look at this and see how the private sector responds. That you may get an entirely different response positively from the landlord and also from this specific tenant. And maybe the landlord may say there's a couple other businesses that we haven't even talked about because we didn't think there was a chance to get any more parking, to take a look at it.
Okay. Trustee Vorder, you've been
Mr.
waiting
Deacon,
patiently.
based on the comments I'm hearing here, that parking lot is not utilized to capacity, correct?
Yes, sir.
For commuters. Is it ever filled to capacity with commuters?
No, I certainly have never seen it filled to capacity.
What would you say the percentage is used on a daily basis? Half, 50, 80?
I think the estimate, trustee Border, would be there's 822 spaces in the garage, and there's probably in the neighborhood of 350 to 375 spaces in a day.
So-
Obviously, in the winter, more often than the summer.
So less than half of the lot is used on a daily basis?
That's correct.
Well, to me, it makes perfect sense that the first floor be allocated to the retail businesses. You know, I'm not going to go get a sandwich or even go to dinner if I got to park on the fourth floor. I don't even go downtown to eat in restaurants because I got to park on the fourth floor. I think that makes perfect sense that we allocate the first floor to retail parking.
Okay, so are we making the motion? Are we going to table and explore
We
further?
can make the motion for the first
Okay.
floor.
We have
a motion.
We have a
Okay.
motion to approve. Pat.
We have a motion to approve the 20, I'm sorry, so,
I think what we should do is, what I heard from the village manager was a motion to postpone and bring it back at the next meeting with a plan for the first floor. Is that correct? So a motion to postpone would be a superseding motion over our motion to approve. And then we'd go, a motion to postpone to the next board meeting.
I make that motion to postpone.
Can I, before we do that, can I ask a question?
absolutely.
Well, when's our next meeting? Right?
July 9th.
January 11th.
July 9th.
Right, so why don't we do something where they can get started on it? You know, where they can get moving. We can have a vote, and, isn't there any way to do that, Paul, where we can still vote on, you know, so the village manager can do his job and get moving?
Well, we could make a motion to amend the request, I guess, and designate a number of other parking spots. If you want to, right now you currently have 20, and Brian says there's how many on the first floor, 100 or 80 plus handicap?
There's 822 divided by 5, so there's probably a little more than that. The one thing about the first floor, the section that's tucked in the back is really not where I think a lot of the business.
Right.
You know, the first floor kind of winds around. If you've seen the parking garage configuration, really what we were talking about is the east wall, which is close to those businesses, and really the north wall. So the rest of the first floor is probably better used by commuters. We can come back later.
Well, I like Trustee Carberry's suggestion. If we could have that flexibility authorization to go with the 20,
Okay.
come back to you with a further plan, and I think being able to go to the business owners and tenants, prospective tenants, I think that they'll provide more insight and more creativity than we will. Up here, they'll help us. They'll be very pleased to hear you're flexible.
Okay, so is the motion to amend supersede the original motion?
I think what we're gonna do now, if I'm clear, is you wanna
Approve
say
the 20.
something?
Well,
Approve the 20 and come
yeah.
back with a further
Yes.
plan. So I think what we have to do is just a motion to approve the 20, and with the understanding that the village manager is going to come back with a further plan at the next board meeting.
I thought we were going to amend that and allow the manager to have the flexibility to,
No, that's just what Paul stated.
okay. So we need a motion for what Paul just said.
Motion to approve the 20 spaces.
Okay, properly moved by trustee Carberry,
Second.
seconded by trustee Vorder.
It's already done.
Any further discussion? Please take the roll.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 16, pension reform. Let's see here. This is a discussion of pension reform for Board of Trustees and Village President. May I have a motion on item 16?
Motion to table?
Motion to table by trustee Oliniechek,
Second.
seconded by trustee Carberry. Any discussion? Please take the roll.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item number 17 is the village clerk's report. Clerk Quinlan.
Right. Approval of semi-monthly disbursements dated June 25th, 2013, in the amount of $1,104,019.60.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Madam President, I make a motion to authorize the clerk to write checks and pay our bills.
Okay, properly moved by trustee Vorderer,
Second.
seconded by trustee Quinlan.
For clarification, that's Finance Director Hannigan.
Oh, you write them.
I guess I'll take the roll. Any discussion?
Please take the roll. Any discussion?
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Motion passes. Madam President, I just have a couple more things.
Okay.
Mayor Barry and myself had quite an exciting weekend, attending many events. And on Sunday especially, we attended Father William Corcoran's final Mass at St. Linus. He's moving on to another parish. And it was one of the most touching Masses I had been at in a long time. And the parishioners at St. Linus were wonderful, and they'll miss him, but so will the village of Oak Lawn. So thank you to St. Linus and the hospitality. And then we moved on to the Oak Lawn Garden Walk. And that was a wonderful afternoon. We stopped at 4 or 5 homes, and one of them was Terry Vorder's, and the backyards were extraordinary. So we had a wonderful day, and thank you for everybody who participated in that. That's all I have.
Thank you. Item number 18 is the village president's report, and my first item on this is a request to approve a Class C liquor license. This is special events only for the Village of Oak Lawn's annual Fall on the Green Festival to be held on September 6, 2013 through September 8, 2013. And also ordinance number 13-1239 is an ordinance increasing the number of Class C liquor licenses that can be issued in the village. May I have a motion on these two items, please?
So moved.
Properly moved by trustee Oliniechek,
Second.
seconded by trustee Streit. Any discussion? Clerk Quinlan, please take the roll.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Good.
Yes.
Motion passes.
It is my privilege and honor in my role as village president to appoint 2 members to our fire pension board this evening. My first appointment is our village treasurer, Mr. Pat O'Donnell, with whom you're familiar. My second appointment is a new name before this board, Mr. Jerry Dillon. I want to just read a little bit about him. Mr. Jerry Dillon and his wife Katie have been in Oak Lawn since 1999 and have 4 children. He graduated from Marquette University with a degree in business administration and finance and has an MBA from Loyola. He is also a CPA. Mr. Dillon currently is employed by the Wrigley Company as Director of Innovation, which is R&D, Finance, and Strategy. He's worked for Wrigley for the past 20 years, for over 20 years in finance and accounting functions. He began his career as staff accountant and over the years worked in internal audit functions as well. He's been a manager and a senior manager in the company's controllers department. During his time in the Controller's Department, he led the group generating the company's SEC and annual reporting to shareholders. Presently, he's the finance lead for Wrigley's R&D function. I believe I do not need a motion or on these. These are my appointment. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Very good. There are no commission appointments to be made this evening. Do I need a motion to postpone, or?
Postpone to the next meeting.
I need a motion to postpone those to the next
So
meeting,
moved.
please. Properly moved by trustee Olenichek,
Second.
seconded by trustee Vorderer. Any discussion?
Madam President.
Trustee Straight.
I would like to comment on the Fire Pension Board appointment. Once again, as trustee Quinlan pointed out at the beginning of the meeting, is we receive a board packet that really was virtually, there was hardly anything in it at all. There was no background information on any of the, recommendations there were, or appointees. There were no resumes. There was no ability to prepare for the meeting for us, and no way of vetting these people. The mayor didn't allow us to question anyone in determining whether that we would be consent to those appointments. In the past, we have always been provided with the names and a brief resume for anyone that was being recommended for an appointment. How are we to vet these individuals when no information is provided to us as board members in our packets, and is likely to be passed to us oftentimes at the last meeting, during the meeting, or as in this case today, we did receive an email at 1 o'clock. I don't think the people of this community heard the campaign promise to deny access to documents or to appoint campaign donors, or that you would try to sneak appointments through without providing resumes to the board. At a previous meeting, the committee appointments that were approved were identical to the recommendations on Tom Phelan's hit list. Then we learned that the treasurer was recommended by Tom Phelan.
Trustee Straight, you're not talking about the item we're discussing, first of all. Second of all, this appointment per municipal code is my appointment to make without any discussion or vote. So I'm not really sure what you're getting at here.
Well,
if you can wrap it up, please.
Okay, I will wrap it up.
Thank you.
As I said, that the treasurer was recommended by Tom Phelan. We do now know that. I mean, his wife donated $2,500.
We're
to the
talking about
campaign.
the Fire Pension Board, sir.
Yes,
Direct your comments about the Fire Pension Board.
But you're also appointing the treasurer to the Fire Pension Board, so I think it's relevant. I think we were promised transparency, but what we have are a lot of last-minute decisions that are forced on us. And what I'm asking, we have as it relates to Finance Committee issues, we have what's called a 5-day rule. While it's not codified, it is something that we've respected for many, many years. And what I would ask, that we have a similar rule for anything that's going to come before this board, that information is provided, for us, so that we have an opportunity to look at that information and consider it.
We have followed the municipal code to the letter on this appointment.
Well, and
to
maybe-
imply otherwise
well,
is
okay, well, then
inappropriate.
Who is Jerome Dillon replacing on the Fire Pension Board?
I don't have the list here, I'm very sorry.
You don't know who he's replacing. You're appointing somebody, but you
Correct.
don't know who he's replacing.
Correct, I don't have the list at my fingers, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I could tell you who he's replacing, I guess. I mean, it's on Tom Phelan's hit list, okay?
Okay.
You're replacing.
Okay, we're going to move on, I'm going to call the vote.
Well,
Actually,
but
there's no vote.
I have a pretty relevant question, okay? Are you
Okay.
replacing Steve Rocky on the Fire Pension Board?
Yes.
You are, okay, all right. Steve Rocky was appointed to the Fire Pension Board in 2012 for a 3-year term. His term isn't up until 2015.
My
I have to ask, is it
prerogative
even
per
legal
code
to
is
appoint
to-
somebody when there's somebody in that
They
position
serve
who's...
at the pleasure of the mayor. It's an at-will appointment.
So even though he has an appointment up till 2015, you can replace him?
That's correct.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on.
We need a
Okay.
motion to, we're postponing the commission.
Okay, thank you. We need a motion to postpone the committee, commissions
We
till...
have it already. I'll just
Yes.
call the roll.
Call the roll.
Trustee
Thank you.
Carberry.
Yes.
Trustee Vorder.
Yes.
Trustee Straight.
No.
Trustee Quinlan.
No.
Trustee Olenichek.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-2.
Thank you. During the village manager's report, Mr. Deachin began his discussion gave a recommendation on the reorganization of specific legal services. Going to turn the floor back to you for discussion.
Thank you, President Burry. In 2009, those members on the dais here were serving on the board. I presented to the mayor and board of trustees 21 recommendations that had to do with restructuring the organization and an impending budget gap that we had for the ensuing year. And a majority of those recommendations were adopted by the board. And probably, in my opinion as a manager, the most successful and most far-reaching recommendation had to do with legal services and reorganizing those legal services. In fact, in a anonymous survey that I circulated among all the department heads and managers for the village, so they didn't have to feel any pressure from me as village manager, they commented on all the services and they concurred that that change in how we provided legal services and the consolidation was without a doubt very, very effective and an improvement for the village. This recommendation before you is really not new. It's been talked about in the past. Currently, in my memo to you, to the board, and the resume that I included on June 21st, I pointed out that we now provide prosecution, adjudication, and counsel for police and fire commission by 3 separate individuals, all doing a fine job for the village. I consulted with all 3, I spoke to all 3, and I have a recommendation to you that those services would be consolidated. We would enter into a fixed fee agreement, reducing the budget for a 2-year period, meaning that the annual money that we budget for these 3 accounts currently would be reduced, and it would be fixed over the span of 2 fiscal years. So my recommendation to you, although I need the support of the mayor, and as I indicated earlier, I did speak to the mayor in advance, told her why I felt this was in the village's best interest. It requires a motion on the board to direct the contract to be prepared as to form. It would be not to exceed $60,000 per year. Currently, we budget over $71,000 per year for those 3 separate functions. And the attorney's office would prepare it as to form, and the services, we would engage the services of Mr. Kevin Cunningham, who has served as the village's prosecutor since circa 2006. Thank you, President.
Thank you. Any discussion on this site? Well, I need a motion to approve this first, please.
So moved.
Properly moved by trustee Oliniechek.
I'll second.
Seconded by trustee Vorder. Now I'll take any discussion on this. Trustee Quinlan.
You know, it really is disappointing to me because, not to sound repetitive, but I'm feeling like this is all I'm saying and referring to is that hit list of Phelan's and the group that met with him. But what's upsetting is that, you know, the 2 attorneys that are no longer going to be with us have been removed. And this is all based on what that, on that information.
Manager Deachin,
Now,
were they
while-
removed?
I'm sorry, President?
Were these attorneys removed?
That's what you're planning on consolidating, correct?
I spoke to both gentlemen, one twice in person and one by telephone, and again, without going into the various different elements that I, as a manager, assess and evaluate in making my determination, both individuals concluded the conversation with the following. Mr. Manager, working with the staff, they've been extremely professional. We've enjoyed the opportunity to serve the village. And please, whatever your recommendation is, let the successor know that we stand ready to help that successor be successful. We're here to serve the village. So that was the conclusion. I thanked them for their services. Told them that I would be bringing this to the board. I didn't have the authority alone to make the decision that it required the consent of the mayor and the vote of the board. And I discussed that with you, Trustee Quinlan, on the weekend.
Right.
And that has, again, keep hearing reference to a hit list. I told you, I've never seen a hit list.
I have
I've read
it.
about it. I have
I'm
no
happy to
intentions
share
of
it.
looking at a hit list, but this whole issue and this recommendation has been the subject of discussion by this board and by the administration. And quite frankly, I think we were very deliberate. We were not knee-jerk. And I see it being highly successful for the village.
If I can finish.
Sure.
I totally disagree with you. I think that it's the fact that every week we're bringing this up because things keep happening. But as I told you also, I certainly am never opposed to saving the village money. That's always a good thing. And if you had told me that, gee, we want to consolidate, the attorneys and have, instead of 3 different jobs, one attorney will do all 3, I would say, great. Let me see all the proposals that you have collected, or at least 2 alternatives. And again, this is absolutely, I will not say anything bad about Kevin Cunningham. This is not about him. It's about the process that we did not go through, and that you handed it over to someone on the hit list where it specifically says that he brought 10 people to the plate to work on a campaign. That, in my opinion, is wrong. I'm all for it. Like I said, if you would have said, well, we approached Kevin, and then we approached whether it's the 2 other gentlemen or 2 other outside ones. But that wasn't done. And I think the process is flawed, and it's not okay. And then the other thing is, you are asking us to vote on this, yet you haven't told us specifically how much he's charging us.
I just
So-
indicated to you, fixed fee.
A fixed- how much?
Fixed fee is $60,000 per
For
year.
2 years.
A 2-year period. That means that caps Mr. Hannigan, when he prepares the budget, he knows what the number is. There's no fluctuation. We addressed this in 2009 when we did a fixed fee. Again, in the field of legal services, that was a trend that was starting in 2009. It wasn't necessarily a concept that was originated here. Matter of fact, it was many of the big corporations in this country said our legal fees are getting out of sight. We need to cap them.
I'm not objecting to that at all. That part I am not objecting to. I'm objecting to the process again.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So.
Any other discussion? Okay, trustee Straight?
Madam President.
And then we'll call the roll.
Okay. I know that some of you are new to the board and to public service. However, your inexperience doesn't excuse what you are about to do tonight. At this point, a little bit of history should be provided to everyone who hasn't been around in order to better understand who the gentlemen are that we are replacing tonight, that we're talking about getting rid of. Russ Miller is a former assistant state's attorney that represents the Police and Fire Commission and is one of our adjudicators. Russ had experience with the Palos Fire District before being appointed to the Oak Lawn Police and Fire Commission. Some of you don't know it, but Russ Miller was the one who came and told us that the village could capture a lot of the money that we were giving to the county by adjudicating minor offenses at the village board. The previous board rightly established the adjudication process, and as a result, the village has generated hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue from adjudication, which means that we didn't have to increase taxes by that amount. Joe Petco is the other adjudicator. Mr. Petco is another guy that went beyond the call of duty. He noticed that other villages were charging more for police tows than Oak Lawn. Based on Mr. Petco's recommendation, we raised our towing fees, which will generate an additional $100,000 in revenue a year for the village. These guys didn't have to go out of their way to assist the village, but they did because they are professionals. And they were paid a total of about $28,000 between the 2 of them for their services. They were a pretty good deal, I think you'll agree, for the village. This isn't how we should treat people who go above and beyond to make this a great community. So why are we getting rid of these 2 individuals? The reason isn't isn't a surprise, as Trustee Quinlan stated, because this was the recommendation. It is the exact recommendation that was included on former Trustee Tom Phelan's hit list. Both of these individuals' names appeared in red on Trustee Phelan's hit list. According to Tom Phelan's hit list, the attorney that will replace these attorneys should be rewarded. I'm quoting off of the hit list. He should be rewarded because he provided, as Trustee Quinlan said, 10 campaign workers and campaign funding. As we saw repeatedly in the hit list, always reward support is the new mantra here. It's disappointing that the new criteria to be appointed to any village position is whether or not you donated money or time to the newly elected officials' campaigns. The qualifications or the performance of those people whose names appeared in red is not even relevant. This board made a commitment to open government, and yet the manager didn't even interview Miller, Petco, or anyone but Kevin Cunningham for this position. We don't know. Maybe we do know, but I didn't know until this minute that what the fixed fee arrangement was going to be, because it wasn't included in our board packet, but yet we're expected to vote on it tonight. Nobody in Oak Lawn would call this hiring process transparent. The only word that describes it is political. We are willing to dismiss 2 attorneys who have done a great job because this board is letting Tom Phelan run the village. That isn't good government, and in the end, it isn't even good politics. This board has never discussed removing employees or vendors. In fact, we've never heard...
Madam Mayor, point of order, can we call the vote?
Okay, we have a call for the vote. Let's call the vote.
Well,
Trustee Carberry?
Okay, calling the vote.
Yes.
You don't want to hear, you don't want to hear
Warder?
my point of view. Is that correct?
Can we call the vote?
Trustee Warder?
Trustee Warder?
I have some questions I'd like to ask.
Okay, we have more discussion from Trustee Warder.
And I thought I had the floor, so and I still do have the floor, and I'd like to conclude my remarks.
Please conclude them.
Thank you, thank you. We are willing to dismiss 2 attorneys who have done a great job for this village. This board, as I said, has never discussed removing employees or vendors. And we all know that the Phelan hit list said to fire Miller and Petco. It was very clear.
Point of order.
But we never heard.
There's names being used on here that are an inappropriate use. Point of order, Mayor.
Okay, let's move on. Trustee Strite, it's another personal attack. Conclude your remarks, please.
It's not a personal attack. These are relevant issues for discussion.
Thank you.
Just like on the pension reform. If you want to talk about an issue, you have to be willing to talk about everybody's benefits and all the issues relevant to the discussion. So
okay, thank you. Trustee Warder, please ask your question.
First off, the adjudication program goes far beyond the previous board. It goes to the previous board.
Not the municipal adjudication.
Mike Walsh brought adjudication. I was a captain on the police department. I was part of that process. There have been a number of adjudicators over the year. I know nothing about heat lists. I know nothing about these 3 attorneys. What I hear, though, is that we can save the taxpayers $24,000 over the next few years. And I think that the work we're asking this attorney to do is not rocket science. We're not going to the Supreme Court. This is adjudication of parking tickets. This is traffic situations. I think if we can save the taxpayers $25,000, that's the only issue that's important to me as I sit here. The politics aside, we're going to pick somebody to be the attorney. I can live with that.
Well,
Okay.
I
So
suggest...
let's call the roll.
Please call the roll.
We're calling the roll.
I'm calling it now. Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Warder?
Yes.
Trustee Strite?
No.
Trustee Quinlan?
No.
Trustee Olenichek?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-2.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, I just have a quick statement about board decorum. It is every resident's expectation that what's set up at this dais be truthful and honest. All of us should remember we're here to do what's in the best interests of Oak Lawn and act on the behalf of residents. We all took that same oath. Deliberate lies and personal attacks have been tolerated by other village presidents, but so long as I am in this chair, I hold each of us, myself included, to a standard of honesty and professional decorum that the residents of Oak Lawn deserve and respect and expect. Deliberate lies on this dais will result in my request to censure the offending trustee. Repeated offenses will be dealt with. No one is to use this honorable dais as a platform for lies to the good and decent people of Oak Lawn. And moving on to general village matters.
Madam President,
In the last few weeks, I've had the pleasure of attending school board meetings for District 122, 123, as well as the Oak Lawn Library and Oak Lawn High School boards. I want to thank them for their time, allowing me to say hello at their meetings. I also attended a wonderful event on Sunday after the garden tour called One Community, One Meal. This was a community dinner hosted by the Oak Lawn Ministerial and Religious Workers Association and representatives from the Mosque Foundation. This is a completely free meal for everyone. They aim to build relationships across religious lines and unite Oak Lawn residents in service over a meal. It's a great night out and everyone's welcome. They have 2 more meals scheduled for this summer. One will be August 18th and one will be September 15th at the Menard Center at 90th and Menard at 6 p.m. I encourage everyone to come out and enjoy the free food and fellowship. It was a good time. I also want to wish everyone a safe and happy Independence Day, and I look forward to seeing everyone at the parade. Moving on to item 19. May I have a
Madam-
motion, please, to go into executive session for the purpose of...
Madam President, you addressed board
For the
decorum.
purpose of...
And we did hear what you had to say.
Trustee
Why don't you
Strite?
let me address board
I need a
decorum?
second, please.
I'll second.
You know,
Seconded by Trustee Warder.
That's not right.
All in favor?
It's not just your opinion that gets to be heard.
Thank
That's
you.
horrible.
Opposed?
Very unprofessional.
Okay, so we're going to move on
Minority should be able
to
to be
executive
heard.
session. Thank you.
You know,